Welcome to Silver Bar Stacker, folks. Hope everybody's doing well and enjoying their morning. That's right, folks. It's the morning and we've got another exciting unboxing. Now, this unboxing is something very, very unique. It's a single bar, and I'm super duper excited to open it because it's not an item that I even have in my stack, and it's truthfully not an item that really pops up for sale very often. And truthfully, I've never, this is a true fact here, after all is said and done, I've never seen these bars sell for less than $50 an ounce. And this is not just a 1 ounce bar that we're talking about, $50 an ounce, which kind of a lot of your common Engelhard and Johnson Matthey bars nowadays are costing close to pushing, $50 an ounce. But I'm talking about a 10 ounce bar. Now, 10 ounce bars and larger bars in general, those typically do not demand higher premiums, or at least relative to 1 ounce bars, and that's because they're just not nearly as liquid. The buyer pool is so much smaller for larger bars because it's more expensive. Maybe not more expensive per ounce, but who has the money to buy a whole 100 ounces of silver, as an example? So that's why 100 ounce bars are always following spot price quite a bit, because truthfully there's not a huge amount of people that are willing to spend significantly above spot price for one, right? So those types of items tend to sit there for quite a while. So when it comes down to 10 ounce bars, I would say that 10 ounce bars are pretty iconic in the vintage silver world, because 10 ounce bars are kind of like, for a lot of vintage collectors and stackers, it's their go-to denomination. Like, a lot of people just swear by the 10 ounce bar, and I would say that's because it's a very nice medium, right? 100 ounce bar is a little too much. Sometimes the 1 ounce bar premiums get a little bit too prohibitive, and so 10 ounce bars are kind of a sweet spot. Odd weight bars, and even like things such as 5 ounce bars, especially in the vintage variety, they can sometimes be harder to find actually than the 10 ounce variation. So then the 10 ounce becomes kind of like the go-to bar for a lot of stackers, right? Just because it's kind of that healthy balance here between stacking and collecting. The other thing I would say is that with respect to 10 ounce vintage bars is that there's a huge variety to choose from between extruded, poured, and pressed bars. There's so many different bars to choose from, because all these refiners back in the day, they were making a whole lot of 1 ounce bars as well as a whole lot of 10 ounce bars. So there's a lot of 10 ounce bars out there that you can choose from, and you can go down a very, very deep rabbit hole, just like you can with the 1 ounce art bars and things like that. So let's go ahead and, without further ado, check and see what kind of bar do we get. Do we get a pressed? Do we get a poured? Or do we get an extruded bar? Yes, folks, we got an extruded bar, and this is something that I've been eyeing down for quite a while, and I just felt, after really doing my deep research, I just felt like it's a reasonable price to pay, so I'm just going to grab it because it is such a cool and unique bar, and I have very few extruded bars, I would say. I'm more of a pressed bar man myself, because I truthfully just like the pressed bars. I find them to be more accessible. I can stack a lot of them, and they're typically, a lot of them get very pricey, the pressed bars, but typically, generally speaking, they're a little bit cheaper than like poured bars, for example. But extruded bars are really not something that you see very often. I would say when you compare extruded versus pressed versus poured, you would see fewest of the extruded bars. I guess outside of like some of those common Engelhard extruded 100 ounce bars, those are quite common. But outside of that, you don't see these types of things very often. Another kind of extruded bar that I like are going to be your Swiss of America extruded bars. There's going to be like little thin, very thin bars, and long, like a Kit Kat almost, but a skinny Kit Kat. So anyways, speaking of skinny, this is a 10 ounce bar, but extremely skinny. And you can see extruded means they just kind of like chop it off like a little slice of cake or bread or cheese. And so look right there, you can kind of see where that's been sliced off. So this is a very cool bar. This is not a bar that's easy to research. The Dick Pereira stuff, the DP stands for Deak Perera. The Dick Pereira stuff is not the super easiest stuff to really research, and there's a lot of obscure stuff out there, and there's a lot of co-branded stuff out there too with the Dick Pereira. I myself, as well as Silverstruck, and I know a couple other members in this community, such as Raven Ivy, they're a fan of the Deak Perera bars. And sometimes they collaborate, like for example, those pressed 1 ounce bars, those are collaboration with Metal Arts. Metal Arts company actually produced those for Dick Pereira, right? So this is a very cool extruded bar, $9.99 4.0, and it says nothing about the weight. This is actually a 10 troy ounce bar. And this bar actually comes with a weight stamp as well as a no weight stamp variety. And that's not an easy thing to research, but I've just seen these come and go on the market very infrequently, but I have seen them. And the one thing I've noticed is that some variations will have 10 ounce weight stamp on it, and other variations will have no weight stamp here. So that's very interesting to note for sure. Now let's go ahead and test the purity of this. Why not? It's fun. All right. All right, so let's get ourselves onto the silver setting. It says 999, so we'll move on over to the 399 setting. Let's go ahead and test this bad boy out. Bam. And she's a pure bar. Very cool. So I'm super excited about this. Not too much information on this other than I've seen a few examples sell before. So if anybody does have information on this bar, I'd love to hear it. That would be really, really nice. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this unboxing, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers! Oh, and if you haven't had a chance to yet, be sure to check out our social media landing page at solo.to/silverbarstacker. There you can find our direct website link, which is silverbarstacker.com, as well as our links to our other social media channels, such as this very YouTube channel, our Facebook page, our Instagram page, our TikTok page, our Twitter page, and we also have the link to our Whatnot page, which is where we actually run our live auctions and actually also have all of these same SBS drops that we hold. We run those same drops on our Whatnot store, and we also have live auctions happening literally all the time. So the way that you can be notified about those auctions is to be following us there on whatnot.com/user/silverbarstacker. And we hope to see you there, folks. Thank you, and have a great day.